Welcome to Letty Speaks, where we turn pain into passion and find meaning through experience. Every day is a new day to find joy in the moment and live life abundantly. We speak and we listen and we don't take it lightly. Let's jump in and see what Spirit has to say. Good evening. Welcome to Letty Speaks. Finding passion in this day. It's been a really good day. I'm a little under the weather, so you'll probably hear that in my voice. However, I am inspired. I am divinely inspired. And so despite being sick, I've just had lots of messaging coming in. It's been a very active time for me. Interestingly, right when I get sick, then everything starts hurling in towards me. But that's okay. I'm not complaining. However it comes, I'm willing to receive it. And so today I feel a special need to acknowledge Source, aka God, the Creator, the Divine, Allah. However you see your source, we are acknowledging today. What a perfect time to do that. And the gratitude and the energy of thankfulness. Why not? What better time to stop and acknowledge our Creator, our Maker, our Sustainer of life, of energy, of strength, of health. Everything that we need is being supplied continuously. And so this moment goes to our source, whatever that looks like to you. Take a moment to acknowledge and give thanks. We don't have to wait till Thanksgiving or Christmas to take time out. We should actually do that every single day. Just being able to get up and rise again in another day to try to experience the best, our best life, right? That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And so take a moment just to stop. We're going to do that and give reverence. Okay. As I took that moment just to stop and to think, immediately I began to think of the cosmos. A picture of the stars and the moon popped up for me. And for me, that is a reminder of my Creator. It reminds me as I look up into the sky and for the farthest distance that I'm able to see and acknowledge, there is a likeness out there for me. Because when I look up, it's a reminder for me of how great our Creator is, how great our source is, how unlimited our divine is. And the same thing that I'm looking out as far as my eyes can see, the same thing that is out there is also in me, right? It's maybe made up in different molecules and it's rearranged differently, but it's all the same stuff when it comes down to it. And so it is a reminder for me of how great the Creator is. And yeah, definitely worthy to be revered, all creation. And so let's jump in. Today we are taking a look to see that's actually a great segue into what I was given to talk about today. Today we're talking about tapping into the energy of nature and seeing what nature would have to say. As we look out into nature, it's more than just a resource, right? It's more than just food to eat and material to use and then throw away, but it's a vital living organism, just like we are, our bodies. We're living organisms, and the earth is as well. And if we get quiet enough, we can hear what she has to say. And I'm going to use the pronoun she, because I think of the earth as a mother that, is so fruitful, right? So fruitful, so abundant. No matter how much we use, she never stops producing. But there is a level of reverence that we're being called to give to nature, to Mother Earth, to one of the greatest gifts that we have been given in this existence that we are in here on the earth. And that leads into our message. We're taking a look to see what the trees would have to say. And so I have an oracle deck here, the Oracle of the Trees, and they're going to speak to us, and we're going to listen, and we're going to delve in and explore and see what the trees would have to say right now, here, this evening, while we sit in reverence. And so that's what we're doing tonight. Thank you for stopping by. Again, my name is Leticia, also known as Letty Speaks, also known as Sunfire369. If this is your first time here, welcome. I hope you find what it is that you are looking for, or what it is that you were led here for. If you are returning, thank you for stopping back by again. And as always, I hope you receive what you've come for. And so with that being said, there's many ways that you can support. Please do like. You could share, you could comment if this is resonating, or even if you have questions, there's also a couple of links down below. A couple of the links are ways that you can donate if you feel led to do so. There's also a link for my calendar. Unfortunately, I am not taking any more appointments for this next coming month. I'm only taking a couple, and those slots has been filled. And so look for my calendar to be reopened in February if you are thinking about scheduling or booking with me. But of course, any of the other ways you are open to choose to support my channel. I do appreciate each and every thing that you do. You just being here, I'm appreciative. Thank you, as I do not take it lightly. And so with that being said, let's jump in. So our first three cards we have here tonight, coming from the Wisdom of the Trees Oracle deck. So our first card is Montezuma Cypress. So I'll let you take a look and see which one you choose. Montezuma Cypress, choose one of these. Trying to make sure it doesn't have a glare on it. Oh well. And then we have Indian bean. And then we have yew, Y-E-W. Again, Montezuma Cypress, Indian bean, and yew. So go ahead and take a moment and choose one. Choose one. I'll give you a second to look into that. We are not in a rush tonight. I plan to take my time. I may have to stop just to kind of possibly blow my nose or cough or something, because I am getting over flanky cold. And so I don't plan to rush tonight. I'm going to take my time to delve in here tonight, okay? Thank you for your patience. Go ahead and take a moment and choose which card. And for those of you that may also be suffering with a cold, one of the things that my family finds is very helpful is ginger tea. So that's what I'm drinking tonight. And this batch of ginger tea was boiled with lemons with the peels and cinnamon sticks. And then I added some honey straight off of the comb. So there's little pieces of honeycomb in here as well. It tends to get a little bit waxy because I put quite a bit in here, but that's okay because it's edible. And I find that it actually soothes my throat. My throat has been pretty raspy, and so it's been really helpful for that. Anywho, so you've chosen your card, and we're going to jump in here. We're going to start with Cypress. And I'm going to put these up here out of the way as we start with Cypress. Now, Montezuma Cypress. And this card for me, when I first looked at it, it's very tribal. And it gives me a sensation of being very grounding and very paced, right? I don't get the rushed energy with this card. This is like a very paced, a very timely, a very grounding energy that I'm getting from this card. If you can see that. And it feels very tribal to me. It feels very tribal. And so let's explore. So the Montezuma Cypress is actually a tree that it grows between the land and the water. And this tree is calling for balance, right? Between the material world and the spiritual world. This tree actually is a tree that actually, as you can tell, oops, okay, are we good? I think we're good. As you can tell, this tree actually looks, remember I was saying how it looks very tribal, it looks grounded, it looks very stable, like it would actually be around for a long time, unmovable, especially if it's between the land and the water, right? Planted by the waters, unmovable. And so it actually lives for a long time. and it grows to be up to 130 feet, which is actually around 40 meters tall. So it actually is a pretty big, a pretty stable tree. And so this particular tree is going through some struggles right now, because what used to be a very wet and swampy area where these trees grow has actually dried out a little bit. So they're not getting as much water as they used to, and which is making it the conditions a little bit scarce and a little bit difficult. And so this tree, the energy behind the Montezuma Cypress, being that it's calling for a balanced focus between the material world and the spiritual world. And so if you're feeling bogged down right now, this tree is calling you to not to allow your worries and the difficulties that you're feeling right now to pull you out of your power, or to cause you to focus more on the problem than your strengths, right? Not to give away your power. In other words, don't allow the situation, no matter how difficult it may be, to dilute your power by concentrating on those trivial matters. And so this tree is reminding you of where you are, right? You're between the water and the land. You're between the spiritual world and the material world. And so being that you're in between the two, there's a need to balance what you're giving your attention to. In times of difficulty, you may even find it helpful to focus more on your spiritual strengths. And when in times of maybe spiritual trials, you may find it beneficial to kind of focus in on the material, right? So it's calling for balance, and it's reminding you of your responsibility to both. You're not just existing in the spiritual, and you're not just existing in the material. You're in both. You're between the land and water. And you have an obligation to both. So don't let either one pull you all the way in on one side or the other. Okay. So let's take a look at some of our hidden realms and see so for the Montezuma Cypress, let's see what comes out. We have the Dream Walker, the Lady of Lightning, and the Desert Prince. Let's go ahead and pull some of our Chakra Oracle cards as well while we're at it. See what energy would be helpful. And the Montezuma Cypress is actually a tree known to be down by the, I believe it's by Mexico. It's native to Mexico, southeastern United States, around Guadalupe. The fruit of that tree produces cat skins and cones. And again, they have a long lifespan as well. A very long lifespan. So I could be talking to someone who is definitely on a specific path or living out some type of purpose. So I'm talking to someone who is purpose driven, someone who's focused in, and not just someone who's like living day to day. I feel like I'm speaking to people who are, focused in on something and heading directly somewhere. They have goals in mind, things that they're moving towards and working towards. And as you are moving towards whatever it is that you're working towards, sometimes it becomes tempting to be thwarted or thrown off, especially when things that we did not consider to be part of the plan pops up right in the middle of where it is that you're going. It's like, ta-da, how you doing, right? I'm here. And it's like, okay, so what do we do with this? What do we do with those things that pop up that don't align with what it is that we're doing and where we're going? That don't, coordinate with where or how we've placed our dreams in our life. And I feel like part of the message here is not to allow difficulties to throw you off course or to steal your focus and your energy and your power, or even to cause you to start to see things that are not really there. Sometimes we can be so sometimes we can be scatterbrained. We can be a little schizophrenic, I guess is a good word, where we think everybody's out to get us, right? But I feel like Spirit is reminding you here that all you have to do is just stay balanced and focused. Understand that you exist both in the spiritual and the material, though things may be popping up in either, not to allow that to throw you off balance. Again, the Montezuma Cypress, in between the land and the water, there's a need to address both because you're a part of both. And even as it pertains to your goals and your desires and seeing the truth of it, and it always taps us into a greater purpose. When it's all said and done, it's not just about us, but it's almost like you have a responsibility to play your part because it's a part of a collective good. And so Spirit is saying there's more at stake, than a little rock being thrown on the path, even if it was thrown there on purpose to try to stop you. Not allowing yourself to be thrown into an illusion that gets you off focus, to keep moving forward. Yeah, to keep moving forward, no matter how shocking it would be, no matter how surprised you are when it pops up. There could be something that has recently popped up, or something is going to pop up that's going to attempt to knock you off or thwart you in what it is that you set out to do. It may even be something that totally shifts your world upside down. Nevertheless, the energy that the Montezuma Cypress brings is stability and groundedness. Again, this is it's a pretty big tree, and it's a tree that stays around for quite a while, which means that it's planted firmly in the ground. It probably has a very wide trunk, right? Which speaks to all of the ways that the roots are probably going down under the ground. There's a whole nother world under the ground, the part that we can't see. But it speaks to the strength of that tree. And the fact that it's planted by water means it's getting everything that it needs. It doesn't have to do anything. Everything is around it to provide the stability and the ongoing essentials that's needed for it to continue to grow and continue to produce the fruit that it produces, the cones and the catnip. So it doesn't just sit there, it's also producing something, right? So no matter how big of a storm comes, this is probably going to be one of the trees that remains unscathed because of the rootedness and the groundedness that it possesses. And I also got the feeling when I first looked at this card of a very tribal energy. A very tribal energy. This tree is used for messaging and to pass things forward. As you see in this tree, as you see in this tree, there is some carving going on. There's like a little dwarf or some type of little figure, right? And carvings actually were used for messaging, like it was to leave some type of message or inscription or signature. There's communication going on here. And so this tree is used as a vessel to pass something forward, is what I'm getting as well. Which makes it even that much more significant, because what type of tree would you use as the vessel to keep it going or to pass something forward, to make sure that something is continued or is received for the next generation or the next group coming through to view, right? You would use a tree that you're sure is going to be there. And so though the storms will roll and the thunder will rage, right? The tree remains planted. It remains connected to both the water and the earth, and it continues to grow. No matter how shocking the weather could ever get, no matter how shocking things turn out around it, it remains to be. And that's the energy that Spirit is bringing into play here. This level of balance and groundedness. Because again, there could be some type of paradigm shift that's coming in. The Lady of Lightning talks about something happening that's going to flip the script. It's going to flip things upside down. But yet, you are grounded and you are planted. No need to move. No need to fret. And as I was saying, this tree is also experiencing a little bit of a tumultuous time, being that the water levels have dropped around where these trees are. And so, as you can imagine, they're, probably not getting as much moisture as they have over the past centuries. And so, there could have been some evolution happening there as a result of the climate change. I'm not sure what that would be, but I would imagine there would be an ability to adapt, right? But there is a level of survival in that adaptation. There's a level of survival in that adaptation. And also a level of trust, right? In knowing, I don't care how low the water gets, the fact that my roots go so deep, the roots probably reach over there to the riverbed or to the creek, whatever body of water it's planted next to. The roots probably have made its way over towards the actual source of water. And so even though the water level has fallen, there's probably more than likely a direct line, I would imagine. If anybody knows about trees that's watching, feel free to add in. Feel free to correct me as well. I'm just flowing with spirit. But in the midst of even drought, there is the understanding that all of the needs will be met. There is a way that source will reach you and will make everything that you need available. Despite of what's happening around you. Despite of the false promises that were made to you that were not carried through. Right? It's going to come from a different place. That's all that means. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just means it's going to happen in a different way. So no longer will the water meet you at the base of your tree, but the roots that are going and filtering under the ground will just make its way right on over there and tap right into the source. And so this comes to let you know that no matter what comes towards you, what comes against you, whatever it is that you end up facing, understand that you have tapped in. You are tapped into the source that has everything that you need. Even to the point where you can look around and you don't see anything that slightly resembles whatever it is that you need, yet and still, somehow, some way, it just pops up one day out of nowhere, right? It's that kind of energy. And so overall, this is talking about staying balanced and not being thwarted off of your path, not being shaken or moved. Understanding the vital importance of you being planted. So whatever it is that you're carrying, whatever message you're carrying, like the inscription carved out of this tree, needs to be carried forward. It needs to be there when the next generation comes by, when the next group comes by. There needs to be a sign of life. There needs to be a sign that this is ongoing. And promises are being kept, right? And so that's the energy I am getting there. And as we tap into the Chakra Oracles deck, a couple of things are standing out here. First of all, I have the solar plexus chakra, and that is the third chakra from the root chakra. It usually is accompanied by the color yellow, which tags in with the sun. Talks about vibrant energy, life energy, strength, courage, right? And then the sun is usually in direct correlation with the lion per tarot, but which is also of a yellow golden color, right? And so talking about the solar plexus talks about courage. It talks about competency and self-belief. It talks about being open and trusting yourself and knowing that you are able, knowing that you are worthy, knowing who you are, and trusting that fact as you move forward courageously. This is the posture that we stand in when we face struggles. We don't cower up into a ball and go run off, but sometimes it requires finding a different route. If one door closes, listen, there's 10 or 20 more that's open and waiting. Find those. Doesn't mean that you'll never cry, no, but do what you gotta do, get over it, and keep moving. This is the posture that you are being called to stand in. As whatever these issues are, as they surface, right? Stand tall, stand flat-footed. And I feel like this is pointing upward. It's almost like in reference to a higher power. It's in reference to connecting in times where you feel like you have reached your capacity and you can't go any further, or you've done all that you can do to stand. Now it's like, all right, I give the rest to you, divine. I give the rest to you, God. I connect to you, my source, for the rest of this, now that I've reached my end. And this is also the energy of coming into your rightful place. For some of you, it could be you just coming to understand who you are and what you've been called to do, and you being in a position to stand in that now that you know. In this picture, I'm always drawn to, I don't know if it's wind. It could be wind. It could also be water, because it looks like waves that she's standing in. But as she stands here, I feel like she's unmovable. And I feel like because she's unmovable, now everything is beginning to flow around her. It's almost like setting her place in the world. It's standing flat-footed and not being moved, right? Unmovable. And this is warrior energy. Doesn't mean that you'll be going to war. This could actually be you establishing yourself mightily. Sometimes it does take a bit of a war for you to establish yourself and to set your boundaries and to claim your precedence in the world. Sometimes it seems a little chaotic. Nevertheless, so be it. Because there's something that you've been given to do. And it's important. It's that kind of energy. And as you recognize your place and you find that and you stand in that and you stand on that, right? Everything begins to flow around you. It recognizes your power. And now it's like, oh, okay, so I guess she's not moving. So the only way to get to the other side is to go around, right? This is empowerment at its finest. But it's not just you doing that, again, because there is a connection here that I'm seeing with Source. There's a connection with your higher power. There's a connection, even possibly to nature as well. There is a communicating with nature here that's allowing this. That's allowing this precedence that she's setting to take place. Right? When you know who you are, even the wind and the waves obey. That's what I'm hearing. So call on your inner strength and your stamina as you establish yourself in this world. And though this doesn't look like it, this is the great central sun. It feels like it's in the nighttime, though. You see the colors? It almost looks like the moon, but it's actually the sun. But it looks like it's setting at night. And I feel like this is like the energy of being a light in a dark place. Being a light in a dark place, right? So there's no need to fear because of the lack of light where you're going or where you are, because you are the light. Your oneness with the Creator causes you to be the light, causes you to shine through the darkness, no matter how dark. But this is talking about unity. It's talking about unity consciousness, the fact that everything is created to connect, and how everything is actually connected. And because of that, you're able to tap in a way to receive ideas, to receive solutions. Know that you're able to tap in to your consciousness and your existence beyond like what is seen, what is known, what is in the material world, right? There's a way to tap in and receive, I almost want to say it's like a supernatural solutions, ideas. Have you ever had, you're just going along your day, you're just having a beautiful day, and you don't have any worries. It was one of those days where you're like, okay, I'm gonna just go and just do something. You don't have no worries. You don't have a schedule to keep. You're just kind of flowing with the day. And you get a divine idea. And you're like, where did that come from? And I'm not talking about something small. I'm talking about something comes into your mind and it's like out of this world, something that you never would have guessed for yourself. And the divine brings it to you in a message. And it's almost too much to conceive or handle, right? It's that kind of energy. For every huge or paradigm shifting problem, there is a huge and paradigm shifting solution. And understand that you are connected to the whole. Excuse me. And because you're connected, there's nothing that's too big. Matter of fact, you may have even been selected to bring a solution, right? You may be being connected to bring a solution. Talking about a shining in darkness, bringing light to a situation. Tapping into that crown chakra, opening up to receive, to connect. Understanding who you are, what you can do, and the position that you stand in. You are most definitely protected. Right? This is a picture of a mother bear that's cuddling her baby bear. Now, I know very few animals that are as protective as a bear. Like, a bear will maul you literally to death if she even thinks, has an inkling that you are going to move towards her cubs in an inappropriate way. You better watch out. Very protective. That's how the Creator feels about you. That's how your spirit guides feel about you. That's how your ancestors feel about you. That's how God feels about you. That's how the angels, that's how they've been assigned to you. There's an energy of protection all around you. That's why there's no need to fear again. And then to even go a little bit deeper, there is a place within you that is a shelter of protection as well, right? All hell can be breaking out all around you, but to go within provides a peace that is unshakable. If you have inner peace, all hell could be breaking out around you and you won't even feel it. You won't even be affected by it. There is a safe space within each of us that we have the ability to tap into. Yeah. There is a couple of books that I've enjoyed reading by Mark Zukov and Eckhart Tolle. When they speak a lot about that energy, about allowing the inner peace, allowing the stillness to be greater than anything else. That is our greatest power. It lies within us. Within us. And it's something that you have to go in and find, you know. And this is reminding you of what you have in that way, or where you stand. You stand in a position where you're able to go into the space of shelter and inner wisdom. And there you are protected. So you're protected from the inside out. Yeah. So really, Spirit is saying there's no need to worry. You are good. You're covered. So what is this that might be attempting to come in and shake things or cause a paradigm shift? What is this? We have the Chariot here, looking like Wonder Woman. We have the Queen of Pentacles, Nine of Cups, Three of Wands, and the Nine of Swords. So there's something here that has you worried. It definitely has you in a stressful state of being, trying to decide how you want to move forward from this. Right now, I do see a very stable energy, but maybe that's it. There's there's something threatening, possibly trying to threaten your stability, or possibly feeling like someone's trying to come in and take something from you, or someone that is connected to you. And it has you a little bit upset. I see a little bit of irritation here. But Spirit is asking you not to allow it to pull you from your space. Not to allow it to pull you into this over worrying about what's happening in the physical. Because again, nothing can hurt you or harm you. I feel like even if someone was to come and take something, it would just be given right back to you in greater measure. So right now you're considering how you should move towards this. And Spirit is saying there's no need to consider at all, that they have it taken care of. That your part in this is to stay in a place where you are balanced between the physical and the spiritual. And there's sometimes when we are thrown off balance, we either go too much of this way or too much of that way. You know, we began to really focus in and lean on comforts when we get into that stressful state, in the physical, in the material, right? We began to look for ways to comfort that part of us that's stressing or that's anxious, right? And in staying balanced and not allowing yourself to be drawn out of your balanced place, then you're able to rely on the spiritual, even though you feel a little stressed or tensed in the physical, like you rely a little bit more on the spiritual at that point to kind of balance things back out. Otherwise, because you're already leaning more in the physical, in the material, because of the stress that's trying to pull you out of balance, and then you go and find creature comforts, it's even more pulling you out of balance, right? That's what Spirit is saying. And so, but you're in a stable place right now. And so stay there. Keep doing what you're doing. Whatever it is that's stressing you, Spirit is saying, we've got it. Don't worry about it. Let's see. Anything else? I always start with the deck upside down. So after this change comes in, whatever this paradigm shift is, right, it's going to come in and definitely shake things up and cause some transformation and change things. But I'm seeing the Queen of Pentacles is still here. So it's not going to affect you, whatever this is. You will be preserved through this. And people will witness this. I'm seeing that too. People will witness this and see this, right? Again, we're talking about witnesses being able to see the inscription written on that tree. There's something that you're carrying. This is playing a part of that overall. See, when you really find out and stand in your place in the world and you align in that way, everything that happens and it plays out for your good, for your highest good. It just becomes a part of the overall purpose and the way that your destiny is being fulfilled. Everything works for your good when you're able to actually stand in your place of power. And when I say power, I have to really use that word lightly, because in today's world, we've taken that and we have abused not only the word, but the energy. And I think I did a couple of, like 3 different videos a few months ago about holding power and the fact that it's not just about having dominion. That's not what it's about, but it's about carrying out the purpose that you've been given. It's not just being able to tell people what to do, but it's about leading people in the right way, leading people to empower them, right? It's about leading a charge. It's about using what you've been given for the reason why you've been given it, right? And so when you find that place and you stand in it, everything just works out for your good. It serves for your overall purpose. And again, like whatever it is that, even if something is trying to be taken from you, it would just be given back 2-3 times more, you know? And so don't even worry about it. Don't even give this any of your energy, is what I'm hearing. And you may be being used to actually teach a lesson. So that's our first reading. Let's go ahead and get into our second one. Montezuma Cypress. So if you chose that first card, this reading was for you. Let me go ahead and do some timestamps. What do we have? Oh my gosh, was that an hour? That couldn't be an hour. Y'all, when I say the time gets away from me, like, I mean it. I'll be really trying, y'all. I'll be trying to keep y'all here all night. But I did say I was going to take my time, but I didn't mean to spend a whole hour on that first card. So let's see if we can be a little bit more time efficient. For our second card, we have Indian Bean. So with this card, I was feeling just a little fragrant, right? We have the flowers here, a little scenic, you know, aesthetical. It seems very sensual to me, but let's see what the message the Indian bean tree holds. Oh, and I wanted to add to the actual Montezuma Cypress was actually, that tree actually talks about roots. Remember we were talking about the roots, and it talks about being, right? And so with the Indian bean tree though, this particular tree actually is talking about the trunk, okay? So not the roots, we're talking about the trunk. And it's talking about the energy of healing, or this vitality. It's like life energy. So the Indian bean. And so let's see. So the Indian bean actually is a tree that produces these little trumpet-shaped flowers that open up to the sun. And this is in the autumn, right? And then inside there's like little seed pods, which is very useful. And so this tree is talking about being useful and pulling in or regaining vitality, your vitality. Even though it's called the Indian bean, it actually doesn't come from India. And it doesn't produce beans either. Even though the pods look like they would. The name came from European settlers who, when they first saw the tree in the southern United States, it was growing in fields over by the Cherokee Native Americans, or the Indians, right? And its botanical name came from the Cherokee name for the tree. The Indian bean tree is frequently planted in parks just for decoration or for ornamental interest, because the flower itself is very prolific in the summer. And the wood from the trees is what we use to make guitars, right? You would find this in the southeastern part of the United States. And it bears these flowers, these long bean-like fruits, and from these flowers. They do have a long lifespan as well, and they grow to about 6 feet or about 18 meters. So it's comparably probably a lot smaller than our previous tree, the cypress that we just talked about. But this tree is teaching us about stepping back into our vitality by using what we've been given, which means that there could be the allude to maybe stepping out of our purpose. Possibly alluding also to the need for some type of healing through or as a result of interaction with others, because it's alluding to that energy of reaching out and connecting with people in the way that you would want to be connected with. It's talking about like healing connections is what I'm getting here. Or healing the measures used to connect, right? It's being useful and stepping back into vitality, this energy of being grateful for life and being able to look out at everything, all of the opportunities we've been afforded with gratefulness, with the grateful heart, with thankfulness. And so the Indian being is talking about that. So let's take a look a little further. And so, as I said, for me, this was kind of aesthetical and kind of sensual. It appeals to the senses, right? It's very beautiful. Indian bean. I don't know why I was thinking vanilla bean, so I was thinking of smell. But there's flowers here, so of course, yeah. And then, being appeasing to the senses. And even in saying that, I feel like Spirit could be alluding to the way that we present ourselves, as we step back into this energy and using what we have been given, right? Stepping back into our vitality, our zest for life, our excitement to live and to be purposeful, purpose-driven, And I can't help but look at the bird here. Like, had the tree not been here, just simple things. The bird wouldn't have a tree to perch on. I mean, of course, he could choose another tree, but I'm sure he chose this one for a reason. There's fruit, like long bean-like fruit that grows on these trees. I don't know if the bird eats them, but there's some type of usefulness. These long bean-like stalks that grow. There's some type of usefulness that the bird is enjoying by being there. And so stepping back into your vitality for life, your zest for life. That's the message that the Indian being is bringing. And for some reason, I'm feeling like it has something to do with like how you present yourself. I don't know why that was coming up, but let's see. For the Indian being. See what comes out of our wisdom dream realms. Excuse me. So we got the hungry ghost. Ooh, we got the desert prince again. The spiral dancer. And the desert prince. And so our first card is the Hungry Ghost. And then we have the Spiral Dancer. And lastly, the Desert Prince. And so Spirit is saying here that there is the energy of, it almost feels like stagnant energy, possibly obsessive thinking. And because there is obsessive thinking, possibly on the past or what's to come, you're not really able to enjoy the present. You're not able to enjoy life today, right here, right now. There's a lack of vitality, a lack of fervor in the quality of life because of the challenge of living in the moment right now. And Spirit could be calling you to pay attention to the right now. Like yesterday's gone, tomorrow hasn't come yet, and so no need to obsess over it. There's nothing that we could do to make it come any faster. But right now is the best day of your life, right now. And there's certain levels of enjoyment that are supposed to be happening right now, and they may not be happening because of the obsessive thinking over something. This could be dealing with unhealthy attachment as well, or the feeling like whatever it is that you may want things to be like right now, or even something that you're working towards, there might be like a scarcity mindset and thinking that it's not going to come into fruition. Or that there's not enough of something about scarcity. And so because of that, that could actually be preventing you from experiencing life in the quality that you're supposed to be experiencing it in. It's almost like being robbed of this moment. There's something that you're supposed to be experiencing in this moment. And if you look, I don't know if you could see this, but she's looking back. It's like her head is tilted backwards. There's something here in front of her, but because her head is tilted backwards, she's not even able to see what's in front of her. And it almost looks like a younger person, like it could be her daughter or a fairy, but she's preoccupied, or something else has her attention. And so this could also allude to repetition. It's almost like doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. And so Spirit is asking you to kind of look at where you are. Become conscious of the actions and your mindsets and how you're seeing things and reacting to things. There may be some things that need to be released. We're talking about unhealthy attachments, some people that need to be released. It's almost like the energy of being consumed. You ever watch those scary movies where there's the ghost that comes back because they are discontented. There was some type of injustice that happened. And so until they get justice, it's like they're going to wreak havoc on everybody, on everything. And they usually choose a person that's receptive to them. And they pull all of their energy towards themselves, like they don't have any peace, until they get justice. And so it becomes upon that person who they've attached themselves to bring them justice so that they can be released and go in peace, right? It's almost like a hungry ghost. There's something in the past that's pulling life from you. And because of that, you're not able to, number one, enjoy life and live life fervently. And you're not able to actually be productive in life the way you're supposed to be. I almost get the energy like there's something you're supposed to be doing, but because you're being redirected in some type of way. This could also be an energy of succumbing to like fear. Sometimes we look around and we start comparing ourselves. Next thing you know, we're discouraged, but this is letting go, releasing whatever it is. It could actually be any number of those things. And it's the ability to really just enjoy life. Like, yeah, you may still be waiting on some things to come in, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy life where you are. Or that doesn't mean that you stay stuck in the past where things may have seemed more, enjoyable or more ideal. There's something in the right now that needs your attention. There's something that needs you to step into the usefulness of it to reinvigorate the vitality of life for you. Yeah. And then it's also understanding that this is not a predictable, simple experience that has been designed for you. This experience it includes adventures, it includes, challenges, it includes unexpected excitements, and it's a journey. And so it's not just a straight line from A to B. No, it's like a spiral. There's lots of experiences to be had on the way, right? There's some learning, some lessons, some adventures, some detours, right? And so it's understanding that if that's the reason why there's that level of discouragement, right? It wasn't meant to be just plain from point to point. There's so much more to be experienced in this life than just getting to the destination. It's actually the journey that's even more important than getting to the destination. And it's usually the journey that you'll remember and cause you to appreciate the goal that you've reached. It's the journey that makes that much more enjoyable. And again, a desert prince is coming back to the energy of not having to worry about lack. There's no need to worry about lack. I got that energy here. There's like the energy of scarcity. Like there's almost like the fear, like there's not going to be something or not enough, or But Spirit wants you to know that there is, not to worry. The Desert Prince absolutely talks about being in a place where things may look dry, but understand that because of your connection to Source, you will never run dry. Things will never run dry for you. You always have your needs met. Even if it has to be something appearing out of thin air, right? That's how Spirit works. And there's no need to worry, is what I'm hearing. So let's get some energies out here. What do we have for our Indian bean? This is about you enjoying life, stepping back into your vitality where you can enjoy life and perceive the beauty of it as well. There's a bit about reciprocating that to others. You could be a creative. You could be someone that actually is very creative, and you're not in that energy right now. There's something that you create that's supposed to be creating this energy in the earth. But because you're not creating it, it's not being done. It's the need to step back into it, whatever that is. Whatever creative expression you've been given. Right? What would happen if the Indian bean decided not to pop out just because it didn't feel like it had enough leaves or enough flowers were going to pop out this spring or this summer? And it said, nope, I'm just going to stay right here. Because last year I had twice as many flowers that I'm seeing furled up here. I don't think it's going to be as productive as it was last year. So it keeps itself all rolled up and unsprouted. What would happen? Right? No. We need you to sprout. Right? There's birds that are planning to land and perch on your branches. We need you to sprout and share what it is that you've been given. Saraswati talks about creative expression. That's the energy here. And she's holding what looks like a guitar. It's very creative. If you look close, that's what it looks like, a guitar. She's also sitting on a swan. And so there's this very flowy, very graceful energy here, right? And so overall, this is talking about some level of creativity that is yearning to be flowing from you. And through this, through you actually tapping back in, if you're not, and allowing this to flow, this is actually going to invigorate life for you again. Even if it's something that you never ever gave yourself an opportunity to tap into, this is inviting you to finally do that as a way to expand and grow and tap back into your creative juices. On her head sits like a crown of fire, right? Nice little, they look like separate little candles, but it's fire on her head and covering her third eye. And so that tells me there's something that's waiting to be released. Something fire. You're holding on to something fire. You better open up and let that go. Someone needs what you have. Spirit is saying this is not the time to be selfish. And it's not just about you. It's not just about you. There's someone sitting here under her as she's looking back, and her gaze is attached to something behind her, to the past. But there's someone sitting here right in front of her that's waiting. They're waiting for something. But she's busy doing something else. There's someone that's waiting for you. People are waiting to hear from you. There's something that you do. There's something that you add to the world, and you do it like no one else can. Even if this is something that you haven't allowed yourself to tap into, doing it is going to bring your awareness to this. You're going to do it like no one else can. There's a level of grace. I feel like we all have gifts, but sometimes there's gifts that we don't even have to work on. You know, when I think of the prodigies, those kids that actually at 2 and 3 years old and they're already playing Mozart, you know, or 5 and 6, like, yeah, I'm getting the sense of that kind of gift, possibly. This is something that just flows. You don't have to give it a lot of effort. It's natural. Yeah. And there's a level of enjoyment and fulfillment that you're going to get when you tap back into that. It's almost like there's going to be a fire sparked around you, within you. And again, we have warrior again. So this is a place of, almost it's like this is a place of power for you. There's something very significant here. That may be why it has been so challenging, right? But this is warrior energy. And again, it's not like you're fighting something without yourself, but this might be something within yourself that you're fighting to actually gain precedence over, or gain the victory in. It's almost like self-empowerment. There's a place that's waiting for you to step into. There's a place with your name on it that's waiting for you. No one else can fill those shoes. They're for you. And so this is the 7th chakra. This is our crown chakra, right? That's where that creation is waiting to burst free. Again, this is our 3rd chakra, our solar plexus, believing in yourself, knowing your potential, and knowing that you are able to do it and more. Like, this is graceful energy. So it's not a lot you'll have to do. I feel like this is something that's just going to flow for you. The hardest part for you is the self-defeating energy that may have pulled you out of this place, right? Or of this path heading towards this place. And then we have the sacral chakra, water energy. This talks about, this is actually our 2nd chakra. Right after the root, we have the sacral chakra. It's right underneath the navel and your tailbone. This is where all of our creative energy is stored. Our sexual energy, our passions, our drive, right? Our motivation, inspiration, that's fire energy all up in there. And so this is calling you to connect to that place of joy, that place of pleasure. Allow yourself to feel good, right? The most weirdest thing that I've ever tapped into is the energy of feeling guilty because you feel good. Mothers, sometimes fathers too, but more than likely it's the mother that suffers. You know, it's like you take care of the kids 24/7, and then finally when you get a moment to yourself and you're able to go and take a vacation, and what do? Worried about the kids when you're supposed to be on vacation relaxing, you know, or having a movie and dinner, you know. There's a level of guilt that rises up. But that's just an example, and that even goes for things that we enjoy, things that pique our interest, that doesn't align with the plan that others have set for our lives. Well, it's not their life. So I'm so sorry to disappoint you, but keep it moving. My life is mine, right? And it's my job to do what I've been given in my connection with the divine. It may not look like what you think I should be doing or what they think you should be doing, but that's irrelevant. That's their problem, not yours. So allow yourself to connect to that inner dwelling, that inner place of joy and pleasure. And just because I say pleasure doesn't always mean it's nasty, you know, or sexual. But we were given these bodies to enjoy. That's part of enjoying, okay? But aside from that, I feel like I'm getting attacked in my throat. My coughing spells are increasing. But aside from that, there's other things that we enjoy and we get pleasure from. Like I get a vast amount of pleasure from things like painting and doing things with my hands, like touching the soil and walking barefooted on the grass. There's like something that happens in my body. There's a metaphysical change that takes place when I make music. Like endorphins are released, right? I'm talking about all of that. Anything that brings you joy and pleasure, Spirit is guiding you to do it. Am I saying go out and put yourself in harm's way or cause yourself to be in danger, you know, putting your life in danger? No. You want to be safe. You want to use common sense, right? But going back to that example I used about mothers always having to be the backbone, so much so that when we get a moment to ourselves, it feels wrong. That's what I'm talking about. Things that you have not allowed yourself to do, whether it's because of self-obstruction or whether it's because someone else has placed a burden or their program on you, you know. Spirit wants you to be freed from that attachment and that expectation of things happening a certain way, or the fear of not having enough or not feeling like you're good enough. Whatever that is, release it and just allow yourself to go there and feel the joy from it and the pleasure that floods your body because of it. All right, let's wrap this number 2 reading up. Let's see. Grab some tarot for you. So what is this? Specifically, this creation that needs to be released, that's going to stimulate this level of vitality in life. Let's see. I don't think that's part of it. What is this for my reader for pile number 2? What is it that they need to tap into to bring vitality back into their life? So whatever this is, you have had a great deal of worry around it. You moved away from it. You were doing it. For some of you, you were doing it at one time and then you stopped. Or you moved away from it. And everybody knows that you do this well. Everyone notices how well you do this. And you are your biggest critic. And that's true of all creatives, though, isn't it? We are our own biggest critic when it comes to our work. In other words, other people can see it as flawless, and yet we still find ways to criticize it. And I feel like this was something that you made a decision about. Like you chose for some reason to put that down and do something different. But Spirit is saying this is something that you can actually be successful at. This could be business related. Kind of doing business with your art or your creation, whatever it is that you do. Flawlessly. Oh no. For some reason you get really nervous about it. As good as you are, you get really nervous about it. I'm getting like stage fright or something. Extreme nervousness. And so maybe that's something to focus in on your sacral or your solar plexus chakra. Because that's going to help you hone in on the energy around supporting and actualizing your own belief in yourself, realizing your own potential and the truth of what it is that you have and the power that you hold there. As I'm seeing this is a very powerful energy that you operate in. We got the Emperor here. 3 of Pentacles. Something that you do well. So let's see. So how can my viewer move forward here? I hear Spirit saying, understand that you lack nothing. The choice is yours. With the Six of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles and the Death. Maybe where you are right now and the fact that you're coming, being brought back around, maybe that's exactly what you needed to kind of shake yourself out of that illusion, whatever that was. But coming back around here, like, I feel like there's been a change in how you see yourself. Like, you see yourself in a very good way. In a very positive light. And so Spirit is saying, go for it. Come on back around and try it again, right? It's going to be different this time. It's going to be different this time. And for some, this may be also, I hear Spirit just adding a little whisper in there. Now, you may in fact be the very best, huh? You could be like the Mike Tyson in the ring. One hitter quitters, right? But there's still the need to stay humble. I hear Spirit whispering that. You can know you're the very best and still stay humble, right? Other people will give you your flowers. They will. All right. That's what I hear for you, my group number 2s. Come on with it. The world is waiting. All right. So did a little better that time. I think that was pretty much the same. As I already recognized, it was going to be one of those kind of messages that carry through, but that's okay. And so that was the Indian bean. And this is talking about the trunk. Talking about healing, right? Healing those spaces so that we can step into our usefulness, our purpose in life. Excuse me. All right, and so our last tree is called the yew tree. Now, when I first looked at this tree, the first word that popped up in my mind was sacred, right? So if you look at this, it's almost like the moon is peeking through the trees, right? So I get the energy of sacredness with this. We have 2 trees that are growing together, right? It's this fellowship of trees. And so now this is part of the trunk family as well. So we're still talking about healing on this third reading. Oh, and so we had 1:43. I forgot to write down the time for this one too. What was that? 1:43. So we're still talking about healing, right? The previous one, we were talking about the trunk and we were talking about healing. So this one looks a little bit more at the whole anatomy of the tree, and we can actually see the trunk on this one. And so for the yew, this is talking about regeneration. Regeneration. So this is a tree that lives a long time as well. And it seems like the trunk actually gradually dies off. But if you look at the actual trees, they are intertwined. There's almost like a passing on of life from one tree to the other. So as one is dying off, they actually reach over and start growing a new trunk to supply food and to regenerate the life of the tree again. And so that's very interesting. Very interesting. This tree is known to be very mythical. I knew I was getting that sacred energy from this. This tree has many powerful associations with myth and magic. So the ancient Greeks actually regarded this tree as a guardian of the soul, a belief that actually was spread across Europe, and it led to these types of trees, the yews, to stand as sentinels at burial sites or graveyards, Christian graveyards, right? And then some of the ancient Celtic tribes also named themselves after the yew. This is actually a tree that's common to Nordic legend. This was actually the tree of life that Odin hung from 9 days and nights. If those of you that like the Greek mythology, that might ring a bell. And so in the yew's bark, there's like a substance, and in the leaves as well, and it's powerful, and we use it for cancer treatment. Interesting. I'm sorry. So this is actually a native tree throughout northern temperate regions, also south actual to Central America and Samaria, or Sumatra, excuse me. They live a long time. All of their parts are poisonous, and they grow to about 50 feet or 15 meters tall. And so the message that the yew is bringing is that right now is like a potent time of rebirth. And that is so true. This is not just for one person. I feel like this is for all of us. Now is a really significant time for rebirth. This is a time where you can actually leave parts behind that no longer serve you and cultivate new spaces and connect to new ways of doing things, new activities, even new attitudes, right? This is also a time, I think, where the moon comes in for reflection. It's a time for stillness and deep contemplation as we tap into our spiritual beliefs. The yew tree. So let's see. For the yew tree, I love that. I was getting that energy when I looked at it. Very sacred energy. Nighttime, it's a time of reflection. Very interesting about the roots too, how when one is dying off, it reaches out to commune with the other one and to pull nutrients in to revitalize the tree. So this one is talking about regeneration. Regeneration. It's talking about healing. And when we regenerate something, it's almost like like we were saying, it's a rebirth. It's a renewal. Coming back around again. Let's see. Y'all, the Desert Prince again. So understand, let's just clear the air here. This came out 3 times, so we're going to just get this out the way. Stop worrying. Yes, the rumor is we're going into a drought. Yes, the rumor is, that things are going to continue to get higher and higher and, worse and worse. But Spirit is telling you, he is telling us 3 times tonight with this exact same card, not to worry. Even if you were in a dry desert with not a drop of water in sight, Spirit is saying that I am going to provide for you. Even if it has to appear out of thin air, I'm going to provide for you. So stop worrying. Stop it. Ooh, 4 cards came out. So what do? I take all 4. I'm going to put this here because that's a reminder again. Spirit is driving that in tonight real good to stop worrying. You will be supplied for. I just had a couple of days ago, I had a message that channeled in. I was on my way home because I was sick, so I came home to go to bed. But on my way home, I got the message about understanding source, right? We're hearing a lot about source, and it may be a little confusing for some, but when we say source, we're talking about the creator, God, the divine. We're talking about the one who was the beginning and the end, the first and the last, the latter and the former, right? Not only was this the beginning, but it is the sustainer of everything that we need in any place or time. This is the provider, the source for that. Not only when we come to realize what our source or who our source is, then we begin to understand that we lack nothing and we never will. We never will. As long as we understand who or what our source is. Because when we understand that, then we're automatically connected to resource, right? Resource, talking about the prefix re, when we attach that to a word, that means the action of doing something or something happening over and over and over and over again and again and again, and it is nonstop. Means continuous. And so because we have this connection and we know who our source is, we will consistently also have connection to resource or resources, right? As we look back, we're still here, right? How many times, how many ways provision has been made and continues to be made. That's what Spirit is saying. I am your source. So understand, any resources that you need, they're going to be provided. Now get out your head and stop worrying. Stop worrying. This is one of the only times that Spirit will revert you back, will send you back to look back in the past and remember all the times that I've provided up until now. Now, what makes anything different now? Huh? Stop it. Stop it. So we're going to just put that right there as a reminder, okay? That's for somebody tonight. You may be watching all three of these readings and didn't pick one. You just kept coming from one to the other, and Spirit is still telling you while you're looking for an answer. He has given it. You will be provided for, okay? All right. And so, okay, and so the Cosmos is our first card. There is no bad thing about this card. Sometimes the cards will have a good attribute, but it also has a warning. There's no warning with this one, the Cosmos, right? Looking out into that vast space, the potential is unlimited. Remember I was talking, if you did come, there was a couple of the very first tree that we talked about. I mentioned how there are certain things that remind me when I look up at the sky as one of them, of the limitlessness that lies within all of us. Because as far as you can look out into the ethers, into the cosmos, it's a reminder of how great our source is, our creator is, because whatever, as far as you can see out, whatever's out there is also in here within each of us. It's the same thing. It's just atoms rearranged, right? But it's all the same. We're all made of the same thing, right? And so this brings your energy. Spirit is asking you to look out and understand the vastness around you, the potential, the limitless ability available to you in this space of regeneration, the limitless availability to you, and the vast potential for creativity to happen through this process that you're going through right now. And again, there is no warning with this. This is all good. The cosmos brings in potential, unlimited potential, this massive energy that's happening right now, right where we are. And so Spirit is saying now is the time to jump in and do what you got to do. The energies are high to do it. Now's the time. I don't know if we're in a full moon cycle. I've been trying to get into astrology a little bit more, but whatever's happening right now, this is fertile energy for creativity. Even as we're speaking of regeneration, we're talking about reconstructing ways to bring life back in so things won't die out, right? This is the perfect time to connect and to get things cracking like that. Perfect time. And understand too that it's unlimited. As big as you can visualize, that's the potential that you have to create it. There's no limits. The glass ceiling has been removed. Okay? It's removed. And so go for the gold is what Spirit is saying. We're in ripe energy right now. This also brings in the energy to be attentive because we are in such a fertile energy as it pertains to creativity. Be attentive to what it is that you are thinking about because, again, we're in manifesting energy, which leads us to the sun dancers, which talks about that energy, dancing, joyful, inspiration, the energy of abundance, nothing lacking, nothing. And so this is very celebratory energy. And it's pointing to that energy around this energy of creating, right? This is the energy that actually sets things in motion. You know, it's the energy of gratitude and thankfulness and joy and love and celebration. Something is sparked in the atmosphere when we invite in that type of energy. Anything that you place your attention on it's going to manifest, which is why it's important to understand what we're thinking. And so this is a good time to really focus on our expectations and making sure that we're expecting the best, making sure that we're lifting up the energy, kind of like in praise, lifting up the energy, so that the laws and everything around that is like set in place and perfect. Yeah, so the Sun Dancers is talking about setting the atmosphere, being thankful, offering up thanksgiving, being in the energy of praise, joyful energy, dancing, celebration, right? It's cultivating an environment for creativity, for abundance to come through. And try to stay positive as well. Not putting any type of expectations on anything. Just stay open and willing to receive, right? And this could also be inviting you in this time too, not to be too wrapped up in the energy of manifesting. Take time to go and have fun as well. It doesn't always have to be serious. Work, but go and have fun. Go do something to celebrate. And don't worry about how it's coming in or when it's coming in. Just go celebrate. Yeah. Because there's nothing you can do to make it come any faster, right? And so Spirit is saying, just go live. You've manifested it. Now celebrate. Stay in that energy of receiving and loving and thanksgiving, and just go do something to keep yourself occupied in the moment, celebrating and experiencing the moment as this is coming in, as this is happening, right? As whatever this is that's bringing something new in, right? It's establishing, it's refilling, right? I get that energy because they're talking about regeneration. So there's something coming in to bring back up to par. And so that's the energy of the Sun Dancers, is making sure that you are in posture, in position to birth this newness, this regeneration, this new creation coming in, this new way of being, right? Whatever it is that's being regenerated or rebirthed or changed for the better, right? Remain in posture is what Spirit is asking with the Sun Dancers. And also, it doesn't always have to be all sun and play, right? There's balance to everything. I feel like Spirit is saying, well, don't be so serious that you forget to have fun. But at the same time, don't be so relaxed, having fun, that you forget to be serious too. And so this brings in balance, the Sun Dancers and the Meadow King. Excuse me. Because the Meadow King is bringing in the energy of discipline and boundaries and being kind of in position and on guard for whatever would come in, and being ready to weather any type of storm that might arise or anything that's needed, right? So don't be so in party mode that's all you do. There has to be some business being handled. There also has to be a level of attentiveness so that you can maintain good standards, good policies, and good boundaries with what's happening here. And so the boundaries protect you and everybody else as well, right? Good boundaries provides a shield of protection, right? In case anyone does try to send something to hurt you, or try to send some type of criticism or some type of jealousy, right? Because it happens. It happens. Come on, we got to talk about it, you know? And so, and if we're not careful, we need to keep ourselves in check too. We all are human and we're subject to have all of those feelings. I don't care how spiritual you are, right? There is some level of emotion that will come through that you don't want to come through, and you'll have to deal with it. And so setting healthy boundaries, I feel like, is what Spirit is saying here. And then just having a good sense of self, you know, a good, healthy self-esteem. You know, allow yourself to be proud and shine and take up space and, you know, feel good about what you're accomplishing or what you have accomplished. And understand that there's a level of independence that you walk in. You know, even though we may come together with groups and collaborations, we all still hold an independent assignment, or we all are all on our independent journeys, right? And so make sure that you don't enter into any energies where you find yourself in connections that are codependent or enmeshed. I guess that goes back to boundaries, setting good boundaries. And being honest, you know, sometimes you have to say no, or, you know, put space between where you need to see growth. Sometimes being connected sometimes can halter growth. And so if it calls, then you need to be empowered to do that. And to be honest. And so this is the energy of being grounded and clear and understanding where boundaries lie. And not forming unhealthy connections as well. And so talking about regeneration, something is being renewed or rebirthed here. So we're being guided to think big, celebrate, and stay on guard. Let's see what's in the energy. What do we have here, Spirit? All right, so a few cards here. So first we have a card coming from our 6th chakra, which is known as the third eye, right? And you see all of them have like a little glow coming out of the third eye. This is talking about family healing, regeneration, healing the family line, the family tree, trust. And so I'm getting, though, that this may not, in fact, be your earthly family. This may not be blood. This could actually be connections connected to your destiny, your soul family, those that support you and understand your mission and your calling, and they provide support when it's needed. I feel like that's what this is talking about, not physical family. Through this process of what's happening here, those that you are connected to in that way, Spirit is guarding you to develop a level of trust. Develop a level of trust. There is healing happening there. And you all may be actually healing some of the same things. There may be healing along the same issues with the people that you are connected with your soul family. You may be dealing with some of the same situations that you're able to assist each other through. But there's a level of trust that's being healed or either cultivated or regenerated here. There might be some broken bonds here that's coming back together to be healed. And this is coming through the third eye chakra. And so I feel like there could be a need to do some healing because the third eye chakra is how we're seeing and perceiving things. And everyone needs to be working, doing shadow work and, working on staying balanced and aligned and connecting and being open. I feel like Spirit is really honing in on that, the connection, and working on your inner man is what I'm hearing. Everybody is responsible to work on their own inner man. Like, I can't do your work for you when it comes to inner healing, and you can't do my work for me. It has to be done. Every individual is responsible for their own work. But there's like a group healing here. So I feel like there could be work being done within a circle, a connected circle, and you may very well be working together on things, specific things. Possibly building trust is one of them. It's hard, It's like, who can you trust? Listen. I'm not even going to go there because I know I'll end up busting some bubbles. So let's move on. Then we have the energy of joy coming from our sacral chakra. That's our creation center. But this is also the center where we feel and express joy and pleasure. I feel like this is actually asking you to open, to intentionally allow yourself to do things that incite joy. The dolphin is a very interesting animal to put on this picture because dolphins are very playful, but at the same time, they're very intelligent. Like dolphins are one of the smartest animals I've heard. And so it goes back to that dual energy. It's like, yeah, go celebrate, let your hair down. But at the same time, don't lose your sense of your boundaries. Don't lose your intelligence, right? Live in your heart, but also be attentive, have the mental energy revved up as well. And so this is allowing yourself to play and to feel a sense of enjoyment in life. And this could actually be through doing something. I don't know if you love to swim. Somebody may love to swim. Somebody may love to dance and just move their body. You know, there's some form of movement where you enjoy it a lot. I feel like it's either swimming, it could be dancing, and there's a lot of joy expressed in it. I'm getting gymnastics. Yeah. But this is going to actually excuse me. I tell you, this cold is terrible. This is actually going to incite passion and joy within you again. So again, you're being given permission to go enjoy yourself. Like, life doesn't always have to be so serious and so straight to business, right? This is part of staying balanced and living your best life. And then we have Ganesh, which brings in abundance of earth. This is really pretty. I like this one. It's an elephant, Ganesh. So there could be things that just needs to be released. This is healing energy. Before you actually are able to enter into this level of abundance, there's going to be some things that you need to release. There's obstacles that are keeping you from that. One of which could be like the mindset. I'm being brought back to the Desert Prince. So there's some things, some blocks that need to be released. And of course that can happen. So there may be a need to work on your third eye chakra and your solar plexus. And if you have time, even just go through the chakras to align them, starting from the root, the first chakra, and then go up to your sacral, and then go up to the solar plexus, and then go up to the heart, and then the throat, and then the third eye, and then finally your crown. Making sure they're all aligned, right? And that will definitely be resourceful. That'll be a very powerful way to not only release, but to recognize what blocks were there. It helps you to do an introspection, right? Because Ganesh is saying there's something that's blocking abundance from coming in, and it needs to be addressed. It needs to be released, so that abundance can come in. There's something perfectly created for you. Yeah. This is beautiful. Whatever it is, it's beautiful. And it's going to like really, really be something for you. It's going to be different, very authentic to you, elegant. And if you're a man, it's going to be like customized to your style and your liking. I hope I'm not doing too bad with this cold, you guys. I do apologize. The good thing is we're almost done. So let's go ahead and get some tarot cards here. Regeneration. So whatever this is, I feel like it's being customized just for you. But before, there's some things that need to be worked on, released. Some things that need to be regenerated or changed or moved out the way. So what is it that needs to be moved out the way here? Ganesh says something's blocking the abundance. There's obstacles. So what needs to be released? What needs to be released here, Spirit? Dang it. That one wasn't turned over. What needs to be released? What needs to be released here? That's Two of Cups came out again. Okay, so first of all, we have the Ten of Wands. So there's a sense of heaviness or burden. You may very well be carrying more than you need to be. Doing this, that, and the other. Doing your portion and his portion and her portion and their portion. You need to release it all. Boundaries. So someone may need to establish maybe some better boundaries. And the beautiful thing about boundaries is people that have good boundaries understand when you set them, because they know what it means not to have good boundaries. And so they understand. They don't get mad at you because you have found that there is something that's needed to help you to experience life more healthily, right? And they understand that. If they don't understand your need to set boundaries, then that's might be an indicator that that's probably one of the boundaries that you needed to set. There's some level of, so there's lots of completions happening here. It's almost like there's entering into new experiences. Of course, we're talking about regeneration. There's lots of leaves being turned over here. There is some past, there's like residue from the past that you could still be holding on to. This could be from the fact that you were expected to do all this, that, and the other. Or you were done wrong in some type of way, mistreated, used, abused, even, backstabbed, So there's something that needs to be released. I feel like it's in the form of forgiveness. You need to forgive people and just let it go. They did what they did. It is what it is. There's nothing you can do to change it. Now you know. Now it's time to just let it go and move on, is the energy here. And if you have a feeling like there's someone that possibly may need to be addressed and, there's some things that need to be cut off. There's loose ends that need to be handled, is what I hear Spirit saying. There's something that you're letting just kind of roll on. Again, goes back to boundaries. When you know it should have been cut off long ago and it's still just kind of tattering along. There's no purpose for it. It needs to be released. They need to be released. And so if you need another confirmation, all you got to do is ask. If that's who you're talking about, Spirit, show me. And guess what? Spirit is going to show you. There's some level of ways that you are used to connecting with people, like immature connections or relationships. You're probably, I feel like this is like a low, I'm trying to think of a good way to say it, like low level of communication. Maybe there's a need to be more integrous with how you communicate or what you say. And this could have dealings with your actual family. Ten of Cups talks about family. And so there could be relationships that possibly are on the list to be checked, right? Because there's a distinction between soul family. Your blood family can be your soul family, but it doesn't have to be. Those are two different things. I feel like if you have blood family that's actually your soul family, you're pretty lucky. That's pretty amazing, right? But it doesn't have to be, because I asked like what needs to be released, and this is saying family, but it's not the soul family, because Spirit just told you to build the trust there. So this is talking about purpose, not necessarily relationship, but it's talking about building purpose around individuals that were sent to do something like what you're doing and are sent to be a support in that way. And lastly, for whoever this is talking about, listen, don't ask your guides if this is what they're saying to you, because I don't tell nobody to do nothing that Spirit hasn't said. I'm just reading the energy that Spirit is pushing my way to give to you. For someone, there's a job that needs to be released, I'm hearing. Now, don't go quit your job and then come back and say, well, Letty Speaks said I should quit my job, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the energy is saying there is a job that needs to be released. Again, ask your guides if this is for you before going and doing or making a decision that's going to affect your whole life, okay? But that's the energy I'm getting. Someone needs to release a current job, place where you work. This could be even a business setup where you work. But Spirit is saying that needs to, excuse me, that may be something that's standing in the way, right? And it doesn't mean you have to go and quit and just do nothing. This could be, okay, so maybe it's time to actually start that business, right? Maybe it's time to actually go ahead and look into that other job that you were thinking about that you know is going to be more aligned with where it is that's being regenerated for you. It's like redirecting your energies. Is what Spirit is saying here. There needs to be a redirection of energies in this place, in these places. All right. Anything else? And we're going to end this off. We are at 2 minutes, 28 seconds. The good thing about this is you don't have to watch the whole reading. You can just jump to the one that you wanted to watch. And so how do they do this, Spirit? Let's see. How do they do this, Spirit? I love this. Okay, so Spirit has some solutions for us. Number one, we have the Wheel of Fortune. We also have the Emperor, and we have the Hermit. Spirit is saying, first of all, I got your back, okay? I have created a way out, right? Things are being organized and strategized. Things are being position just for these things to be released, just for you to welcome in this abundance. Spirit saying, I got your back. It's going to naturally take place, right? And so when the opportunity presents itself, that's your time to go. And remember to ask, get clarification, okay? And then with the Emperor, understand that this is your life, okay? You are the one that Spirit, the Creator, Source has given autonomy over your life. Remember, we were talking about how everybody is responsible for their own healing. In the same way, everybody is responsible to take advantage of the opportunities presented for them. I can't do that for you, and you can't do that for me. It's recognizing that you hold the power to make the differences that you want to make, for better or otherwise. You hold the power to do that. You always have. Lastly, allow yourself to be guided. When I talk about ask your guides or ask, right? Well, there is a way to do that, right? Sometimes that's getting quiet, removing yourself to where you can hear clearly. Sometimes it comes in as a very small, still voice. And there needs to be quiet, peace in order to hear Spirit talking, right? The Hermit talks about that energy. The energy of pulling away and being guided, pulling away to receive possible direction and guidance, to receive answers, even to cultivate your own wisdom. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're waiting to receive an answer, but it's getting to a place where you can think clearly and sort things out and come up with a sure answer that you are comfortable with. And on the bottom, we have the Ace of Pentacles. New. That screams new all day long. It's coming towards you. Opportunities will be coming towards you. And so I hear Spirit saying, just position yourself for this. All of these changes around the rebirth and the regeneration that's being guided towards us right now, okay? And that was our reading number 3. And so thank you for stopping by and taking a listen to what this, and putting up with all of my coughing and sniffling. Thank you. But overall, thank you for stopping by and taking a listen to what the trees are trying to say. It's beautiful. If we stop and take a listen, they say a whole lot, right? If we stop and take a listen and look closely and look things up, you know. If a message comes to you, clear as day, just out of nowhere, take the time to look it up and find out what is being said in that message. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I think I've held you long enough. If you enjoyed today's reading, please like, share, even comment. You know, all interaction helps to grow my channel, and I appreciate it. Go ahead and hit the subscribe if you're new here. If you are returning, thank you for coming back. I love you for the support that you're showing. Again, it has been Letty Speaks, also known as Sunfire 369, where we take the time to do the healing and to find ways to live an abundant life. That's what it's about. That's why I'm here. If there's any readings that you want to see, go ahead and comment. I'm open for ideas as well, okay? All right, you guys, have a good rest of your week. Thank you for stopping by. Until next time, love you.